from Yoga Physio. We're going to be focusing today on some leg strengthening. Strengthening to strengthen the legs for some of our strongest standing poses. So we'll begin actually down on hands and knees. Take your hands a little bit ahead of your shoulders, a little bit wider than your shoulders. Nice and gently with the breath, cat-cow. Inhale, arch the back. Exhale, round the back. And then come to a straight back position. Gently stretch out through alternate calves. Feeling the strength in the arms, pushing back. And when you're even side to side, step the right leg forward. And we'll gently lunge and lengthen. Okay, if you've got bricks handy, you might like to use the bricks just to make it a little bit easier. And I've got my back toes tucked under, but you need not do that and you need not move all the way back. So just move through your comfortable range of movement, juicing up the hip joint. Okay, and changing sides. Okay, and stepping back and having a little stretch out in down dog now. So hands a little bit ahead of the shoulders, a little bit wider than the shoulders. Really ground the ball of the index finger down so you get a firm pressure through the arms to lift up and back. Feel free to move in and out of it or stay in the position and explore the opening. And exhale, lower to the floor, rest down in child. Okay, inhale, come back to hands and knees. Now, if you've got issues with your wrists, you can do all of this sequence down on the forearms, as you prefer. So, strong grip through the arms and lifting one leg and holding the leg high. So if you're just starting out, feel free to move in and out of it. But if you really want to develop the strength through the glutes, then holding the leg for 3 or 4 breaths. Try not to swing too much out to the side. It's the strength in the arms that keeps you in the midline. Exhale, second side. Lift and hold. And exhale. Now we're going to lift, bring the right leg back through into a lunge. Okay, now you might like to use some bricks by your side here to make it a little bit easier. We're going to lift this leg and hold it up in front. Okay, so you need a certain amount of hamstring length for this, and certainly having more height makes it easier. If you're leaning forward further, it makes it much harder. Okay. lifting and holding. Okay, or moving in and out of it. If you don't have the hamstring length, don't worry too much. Do the best you can. Okay, and changing sides. Lifting and holding. See if you can hold for 3 or 4 breaths. And releasing. Back to hands and knees, or forearms and knees. Lift the first leg and hold. This time keeping the knee high, bring the foot in towards the buttock. And lower. Second side, lift nice and high as you can. Heel into the buttock, pushing the foot up, reaching out to the knee. And lowering. And again, step the right leg forward. Lift the leg and hold, or move in and out of it. Okay, if you've got the hamstring length, really try and lock that knee out. It's hard work. Okay, second side. And push out into down dog. Look between the hands, step, walk or jump the feet forward and come to standing. Okay, let's stand into Dasana with the feet hip width apart. Look down to the feet, check that the feet are parallel, lift and spread the toes. And bringing your thumbs into the groin, we're going to descend down into Utkatasana. Okay, make sure that you're descending symmetrically. Watch the tendency to take the hips one way or the other to accommodate weakness. Now we're going to slide the hands down to the knees, and we're going to test the strength of the inner thigh and outer hip. So one leg at a time, pressing out for a breath, pressing in for a breath, other leg, pressing out, pressing in. So if there's a weakness, what you might find happens is the hips start to move to one side or the other. Now, so if you notice there's a weakness, you might like just to focus on that weaker position. So we're in Utkatasana, but we're pressing knee out or knee in. I found my weak spot, so I'm going to focus on that for a moment. Okay, and release, relax. Take some nice big deep breaths in, shimmy the shoulders. Okay, ready to repeat that. Thumbs into the groin, exhaling, descending into Utkatasana. So if you're asymmetrical, feel free to focus on the weaker side again. Okay, otherwise you could do both sides at the same time. Pressing in, pressing out. Now the deeper you go, the harder it is, but it's a good idea to work through a few different ranges of movement with all of these bending leg positions. Final time, so I'm going to sink just a little bit deeper this time. You can stay with either anything that we've done previously, or if you like now, come into the full Utkatasana. Inhale, reach the arms high. If you've got issues with your neck or shoulders, you can move your arms in and out of the position. And sinking nice and deep, Ardha Utkatasana. Reaching the arms forward, drawing the shoulders back, weights fully through the whole of the surface of each foot. And on an exhale, folding forward, relaxing now in Uttanasana. Okay, strong in the legs come up. Let's step the feet wide. Gently figure eight the hips. Figure eight in both directions. Okay, now turn the right foot out to 90, left toes in. So we're going to come now into Warrior Two. And just as we did in the Ardha Utkatasana, it's a good idea, if you've got an issue with leg strength and you need to strengthen the legs, work through a few different ranges of movement. Okay, sometimes it's even harder to stay that little bit out of the position. Many people sink really low and they kind of hang in their joints. So see if you can just stay, even if you're going really deep into it, keep the hip just above the knee. Now we're going to lean into that front leg a bit again and place the hand behind the knee and press the knee out into the hand. So just as we did in Utkatasana, we're going to have a little assessment, pressing out, then slide the hand to the inside of the knee, press the knee in. Okay, feel what's happening in the foot. As I press the knee in, I'm grounding into the ball of my big toe a little bit more. We're aiming to get the inner thigh, outer hip, front and back of the leg all active. What we call an isometric retraction. There's not movement, but you've got the muscles bracing around the knee, supporting the joints, not just the knee joint, but also the hip joint. Okay, let's straighten that leg and come round to the second side. Left foot up to 90, right toes in. Descend. And again, at different times, descend to different depths. Slide the hand out to the outside of the knee, press gently out. You're not moving anything, you're just matching the resistance. And sliding to the inside of the knee. And coming back up. Feet to the front, hands on the hips. Just relaxing there for a moment, take some big breaths. Okay, once more coming round to the first side. Turn that leading leg foot out to 90, right toes in. We're descending, we're going to come into a full Warrior Two now, Virabhadrasana II. So coming into the depth, you bend, inhale, arms high and wide. If you have issues with neck and shoulders, come to cactus arms, keep the neck and shoulders relaxed. Check that the back arms are parallel to the floor and focus the gaze on the right middle finger. Or leading middle finger. Now we can just make sure the legs are working here, doing their bit by having a little bounce. So let the pelvis descend and then push back up again. Okay, just really making sure the muscles are working, not just hanging on the joints. strong straight back leg. Press both feet fully, firmly into the floor to enliven the legs. And then strong in the legs. Up you come, hands to the hips, feet to the front. Breathe. And finally, left foot out to 90, right toes in. I'm switching between, the film sometimes inverts the left and right. So some of you might be mirroring me, some of you might be doing the same leg. So I'm now on my left leg, even though it looks like my right, maybe. Okay, so coming down, warrior two, keep that knee out over the middle toes and directly above the ankle joint. Okay, inhale, arms high and wide, coming to your preferred arm position. Strong straight back leg, descending to the depth you're happy with. Focus the gaze on the leading arm fingers and a little bounce just to make sure the legs are working. Firm contact, front foot and back foot. Strong in the legs, up you come. Hands to the hips, feet to the front. And relaxing, nice little shimmy. And stepping the feet together. Now if you've got the capacity to come down into full Utkatasana, come into a nice deep spot. Ideally with the heels down. It's not essential, but it's just more beneficial for the back. And if you're not quite able to get there, then you can pop bricks behind the heels to sit on. Sorry, the framing of the video is cutting that off a little bit. But basically I'm sitting on the bricks there, which makes it that little bit easier. My heels are down, feet still parallel, knees that little bit wider than the feet or the hips, out over the outer toes. Now we're going to move from there very symmetrically into Uttanasana. Exhale Uttanasana, inhale Utkatasana. Okay, hands on the bricks may give you a little bit of help if you're still developing the mobility. Okay, keep the knees directed out. Watch the tendency for the knees to knock together. Particularly at this point when the hips are a little bit tight, that final descent, the knees will want to sneak in towards each other. Now slow, making the thigh muscles work to support the knees. Inhaling if you want to add the arms in. Don't worry if there's a few creaks and crackles. And I'm going to relax and stay in Uttanasana now. And strong legs come up to standing. Okay, so that's a nice little short sequence, pretty full-on strengthening. You can work at your own pace, as I said, by coming deeper or not. And also, anyway, it's a good idea to move through the whole range of the knee position. It's functional. You know, the most important thing we can continue to do in life is get plates out of the lower shelves of our cupboards. Okay, the more up and down, the better for the knees. The joints are nourished by the compression that produces the hyaline cartilage that lines the bone, produces synovial fluid. So that full range of movement in weight bearing is really beneficial for the joints, and obviously having the strength around that full range of weight bearing. Okay, so that's it for today. Namaste, have a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.